or you're upgraded, if you will. So let's say you have a security card. You've got a security card with somebody. You've had it for a little while. They decide to move you from the security card to a regular credit card, give you your money back that you put down and everything. What if they decide to do something like that? How does that work? Does that impact you as well? It could. It depends on how that company deals with it. If they just move you from secure to a regular credit card, you keep the same account number, you keep the same open date, which was 2 years ago whenever you opened it. If that's the case, it won't impact you. But if you get upgraded or something of that nature, you can do that with a regular credit card. You've got a card with, XYZ Bank. It's their regular, bottom of the line card, but now they want to upgrade you to the next card. Oftentimes, that comes with an inquiry. They're checking to see if you can actually apply for it and be approved for it, and then they give you the card, and it's a separate account. It's a separate account. So if it's a separate account, yes, that one is going to hurt you when it comes to this and be included into the 524 rule that Chase has. And like I said, only Chase, as far as I'm concerned, as far as I know, has this particular rule at this particular point in time. It's been out again, like I said, like 4 years. So I don't see it taking off and other banks necessarily doing the same thing, but it's absolutely a possibility that somebody else would pick up and start doing, the same thing when it comes to this particular thing. So, bottom line is this: if you want to get a Chase card, you need to do it within the 1, 2, 3 of the cards that you're getting. If you have a plan to do this, and that's one of the cards that you want, then you need to make sure that you do it within the 1, 2, 3, or maybe even fourth card that you get. It would be better for you if you were to do that, if you happen to really want to get a Chase card. So that's really the bottom line with it. And I'm going to tell you this: I think that 5 cards in the 24-month period is too many, personally, and it's not that helpful to your credit report and your credit score. It's going to lower your length of history, that's for sure. So that's 15 points. Those inquiries, that's going to hurt you, right? So if you get 5 points off for each one of the 5, that's 25 points right there that's coming off your credit report just for applying for these cards, whether you get them or not. So that's going to be not going to be that helpful to you. If you actually use these cards and, run them up and have high balances on them compared to what your limit is, that's going to hurt your credit report as well. And God forbid you miss a payment. So you don't want to do that at all as well. So you guys need to have a strategy before you just go out there willy-nilly doing stuff, okay? So that's the Chase 524 portion of what we're talking about today. We're going to get to the bankruptcy and the question of the day. I'm going to do the question of the day right now. So let me throw a couple more shout-outs right quick. Kim Holmes. I got to give a shout-out to Kim Holmes. Happy birthday to you. She should have been last week as well. Tamika Steele. She is the author of a great book called Beloved Brown Girl. It's for kids. If you don't have little brown kids, it's all right. Buy one of these books and donate it to the classroom. Donate it to the classroom. If your kid is already in the 8th grade, maybe they're too old for this particular book. Donate it to the 3rd grade. Donate it to the 4th grade. But yes, the book is called Beloved Brown Girl. Her name is Tamika Steele. Happy birthday to you, Tamika. Kim Mitchell celebrated her birthday. Happy birthday, Kim Mitchell. Like Slick, we go back all the way to high school. Happy birthday, Kim. Sharetta Riley, happy birthday. Talking about a woman with a beautiful soul and a beautiful heart. Happy birthday to you, Sharetta. Erica Meadows, she celebrated her birthday as well. Happy birthday, Erica. My girl, Billy Payne. What's up, Billy Legay? Billy Payne, happy birthday to you as well. She celebrated her birthday last week. Catherine Broadnax, happy birthday, Catherine. And then my cousin, Shauna Vaughn, she celebrates her birthday as well. So happy birthday to everybody that celebrated a birthday. All right. So let's get into this other portion. No, I'm not doing the other portion. Let's do the question of the day right quick. So the question of the day came from Cynthia, and I don't know where Cynthia is from. Cynthia and I went back and forth on email. You can email me 800@creditscoreman.com. We went back and forth on email over a couple of days, maybe even 3 days, just answering questions and, kind of seeing what she wanted to do with her credit. And so she came up with some great questions. And this is just one of the questions that she asked. And since I don't know where she's from, I always like to pick a place. So I'm going to pick, she's from Florida. So Cynthia from Florida, this is her question. How old does your kid have to be placed as an authorized user? And I thought this is a great question because I've talked about authorized users a lot. I told you I placed my son on one of my cars as an authorized user when he was young, and I don't think I ever talked about how old a person needs to be placed as an authorized user. But the answer is 16. 16. They need to be 16 years old to be placed as an authorized user. I think my son was 17 when I made him an authorized user on my one of my credit cards. And actually, it's a Chase card, ironically speaking. I made him an authorized user on a Chase card when he was 17 years old. And at this point, he has a great credit score. I mean, he's a great credit score. He's actually in the excellent range now. And about a year ago, he was in the good range, and he has passed into the excellent threshold. So it absolutely helped him because basically all he has on his credit is this credit card and his student loan. So that worked out really well for him. He's got good credit. So that's what you can do to help pass on some good credit to your children. So if you don't have much to pass on to them, if you don't have money to pass on to them, if you're not giving them thousands of dollars when they graduate high school or graduate college, or you're not buying them a car, things of that nature, you can give them the gift of good credit. And so by making them an authorized user on one of your credit cards that you've done perfect with, made great payments to it, then that is the thing that you want to do. You want to go ahead and add them as an authorized user. Your credit actually, and this was a question that came in my in the conference that I did last week. So this question came up when we were doing the conference last week about these authorized users and how helpful are they and things of that nature, and they are extremely helpful. And so that's just one example of how it helped my son. Was able to give him the gift of good credit, and that's priceless. Trust me, it is priceless. So when your kid needs to go get their first car, they don't necessarily need you to co-sign for their car. They can have good credit already if they need to go finance a car. When your kid gets their own apartment for the first time, then they can qualify because they have a good credit score, and they don't need you to co-sign on a rental agreement for them as well. So do yourself a favor and help your kids out. And what I was going to say though is that you do not have to have perfect credit. You could have jacked up every other credit card that you've had, but you got this one pristine card. You've had it for 8 years, 10 years, 20 years, and you've always paid on time. Check it and make sure. Look at your credit report. See if it's got all 100, on-time payments. Got that green check and all that stuff. It's perfect. You got a limit of $5,000 and you only owe $1,000 on it. Even if you actually it's a $5,000 limit and you owe $3,000. That's okay. It's okay. You don't have to be at the 30% threshold to help them out. But just when you pay it down, it's going to continue to help their credit when you start to pay that balance down. So if you got one of those cards and it's absolutely perfect, add your kid to that card. Everything else could be jacked up. You can be late on a mortgage. You could have been late on your car several times. You could have had a repo. All that other stuff. You could have filed a bankruptcy. All that other stuff could be messed up. But if you got one perfect card, you can put your kid on that card to help them out with some good credit. So 16 is the answer to that question, Cynthia. However, some companies have their own parameters. So that's not 16 because the government says so. There's some law that says they have to be 16. That's just most companies use 16 as that threshold. But Amex, American Express, and Discover allow you to put a 13-year-old on as an authorized user. So you can be 13 years old with an American Express card. Some people that are 43 don't have an American Express card, but at 13, this kid could have an American Express card. So American Express and Discover will allow you to place authorized users on there on your card at the tender age of 13. All right. But generally 16. So Cynthia from Florida, thank you so very much for contacting me. I look forward to some more back and forth with you as well. But thank you so much for contacting me. You too can contact me, maybe be part of the show. You can send me an email and say, hey, I don't want to be part of the show, but I got a question. And boom, we're going to go back and forth and I'm going to answer your question. Email me 800@creditscoreman.com. Email me there and follow me on all social media platforms. Follow me on Instagram. I'm 800 Credit Score Man. Follow me on Facebook. Same thing, 800 Credit Score Man on Facebook. And what am I on Twitter? On Twitter, I'm at Credit Score _man on Twitter. So you can do all of those things to catch up with me at any point in time. All right. Again, thank you, Cynthia. You're officially a part of the 800 Credit Score Man show family. All right. So I said we were going to talk about bankruptcy and how does that impact your credit and whatnot. So should you file bankruptcy or not? Really, that's the question. Should you file or should you not file bankruptcy? Well, it's really up to you. It's really up to you. It's a personal decision if you're going to file bankruptcy or not. If you got too much debt to recover from, and that's relative. You know, if you make $100,000 and you've got $8,000 worth of debt, that may not be too much for you to overcome. If you make $30,000 and you've got $8,000 worth of debt, that might be a lot for you to overcome. If you make $40,000 and you got $40,000 worth of debt, that's a whole lot to overcome. So you might want to look into filing bankruptcy, all right? If you've got collections that you simply can't handle, you've got a repo on your credit report and you owe them $13,000 and you've got another $13,000 worth of medical collections and things of that nature, that might be a little bit too much for you to handle. And let's say they're all relatively young, if you will, because you can ride pretty much all of these things out. It's going to fall off your credit report in 7 years, right? 7 years from the time that you went delinquent. Not 7 years from the time that collection agency finally put it on your credit report, but 7 years from the time that you actually went delinquent, it's going to fall off your credit report. So you can try to ride those things out. And if you can't, you might want to look into bankruptcy. You always want to consult a bankruptcy attorney, all right? Go get you somebody that can at least give you their opinion on your overall financial situation. Do not just up one day and be like, yeah, I'm filing bankruptcy, because you don't know how it's going to impact you fully if you have never done it before and whatnot. And even if you have done it before, you need to make sure that you go talk to somebody first, all right? Here's something that you can't include in your bankruptcy, though. You can't include student loans. So if you're saying, hey, I got all these student loans, I can't make the payments on the student loans, it's stopping me from making my house payment, it's stopping me from doing other things and whatnot, student loans cannot be included in your bankruptcy, at least not at this point in time in our history. Student loans cannot be included in that. So make sure you know that IRS debt, on the other hand, can be included in your bankruptcy. So if you've got some IRS debt and some collections and some other stuff that you just can't handle, you can't pay, then it can be included in your bankruptcy. Let's say you haven't filed for your taxes in several years and whatnot. So you don't know how much you owe, if you owe it all or whatever it is. You're most likely going to have to file first to see what that tax burden is. Maybe you were actually getting money back and you just didn't know it, but now you're behind and it's a penalty and all this other stuff. If it's a lot, you can include your IRS debt in that, okay? There are two types of bankruptcy for individuals like ourselves, a 7 and a Chapter 13. Chapter 7 and Chapter 13. On a Chapter 7, they wipe out everything. So they just take it all. Everything, all the stuff that you owe, they take it all, of course, except those student loans. But they take everything out that you deem, So if you don't put your IRS debt on there, they're not just going to automatically do it. You got to put the stuff on there that you want them to take out. But they wipe out everything when you file a Chapter 7. If you own a home, you lose it. If you own a car, you owe on it, you lose it, right? You lose those things. So all your debt is gone and you start over, basically. That's what happens. Now, with a Chapter 7, since they wipe out everything on the Chapter 7, that stays on your credit report for 10 years. 10 years it stays on your credit report. Most of your other negative kind of debt only stays on your credit report for 7 years. Only 7 years is a long time, but it stays on your credit for 7 years. When you file a Chapter 7, it stays on your credit report for 10 years. All right. So even be cognizant of that. What's going to be going on in 10 years? Do you have any idea? Is your kid getting ready to go to college? Are you going to be able to do things for them because you filed bankruptcy before in the past? Are you going to have issues signing for, student loans or anything like that? So be cognizant of what's going on in the future for you. Now, Chapter 13 is where you restructure your debt. You restructure it, so you don't just get rid of everything carte blanche, right?